In the shadowy depths of medieval lore, there lurks a tale so dark and twisted it will send shivers down your spine. Prepare yourself for the chilling story of the Black Knight, a legendary warrior whose name once struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and inspired awe among his allies. Picture a figure clad in obsidian armor, his very presence commanding respect and terror in equal measure. The Black Knight was a force to be reckoned with, his strength unmatched on the battlefield and his loyalty to his king unwavering. Or so it seemed. For years, the Black Knight served as the crown's most formidable champion, his sword cutting through foes like a scythe through wheat. His exploits became the stuff of legend, whispered around campfires and sung by bards in dimly lit taverns. Children dreamed of growing up to be as brave and powerful as the Black Knight, while enemies prayed they would never cross his path. But beneath that impenetrable armor beat a heart as black as his moniker. The very qualities that made him so revered, his cunning, his ruthlessness, his unwavering determination, would ultimately lead to his downfall and cement his place in history as one of the most notorious traitors the kingdom had ever known. It began, as many tales of betrayal do, with a forbidden's love. The Black Knight, despite his fearsome reputation, was not immune to the charms of a beautiful woman. And when his gaze fell upon the king's own daughter, a princess as fair as she was cunning, he knew he would stop at nothing to possess her. Their clandestine meetings in the castle's shadowy corridors and secluded gardens soon blossomed into a passionate affair. The princess, long chafing under her father's strict rule, saw in the Black Knight a means of escape, a way to seize power for herself. And the knight, blinded by desire and ambition, was all too eager to comply. Together, they hatched a plan so audacious, so treacherous, that it would shake the very foundations of the kingdom. On a moonless night, as the castle slumbered, the Black Knight struck. With the silent efficiency that had made him such a feared warrior, he made his way to the king's chambers, his blade thirsting for royal blood. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. For as the Black Knight raised his sword to deliver the fatal blow, the king's eyes snapped open. In that moment of hesitation, that split second of recognition between monarch and champion, the tide of destiny shifted. The king's anguished cry of betrayal echoed through the stone halls, rousing the castle guard. The Black Knight, realizing his plan had unraveled, fled into the night, leaving behind a trail of chaos and broken trust. For days, the kingdom was in uproar. How could their greatest hero, the embodiment of chivalry and honor, commit such a heinous act? The princess, her own role in the plot still unknown, played the part of the grieving daughter to perfection, all the while secretly plotting her next move. As for the Black Knight, he vanished into the wild forests that bordered the kingdom, becoming a shadow, a whisper, a cautionary tale told to keep children in line. Some said he had been consumed by madness, driven to insanity by his thwarted ambitions. Others claimed he was gathering an army of outcasts and mercenaries, preparing to return and claim the throne by force. The truth, as is often the case in such dark tales, was far more complex and disturbing. For the Black Knight had indeed been changed by his actions, but not in the way anyone could have predicted. As he wandered the wilderness, guilt and shame gnawing at his soul, he encountered an ancient evil, a malevolent force that had lain dormant for centuries. This entity, sensing the darkness that now resided in the knight's heart, offered him a bargain, power beyond his wildest dreams in exchange for his humanity. And the Black Knight, his mind clouded by bitterness and a thirst for revenge, accepted. Thus began a reign of terror that would plague the kingdom for years to come. The Black Knight, now more monster than man, led raids on villages and towns, leaving nothing but destruction in his wake. His once noble features were twisted into a grotesque mask, his eyes glowing with an unholy light that spoke of the infernal bargain he had struck. The king, aged beyond his years by the betrayal of his most trusted warrior, mounted desperate defenses against this new threat. But how does one fight a legend? The very stories that had once inspired courage now sowed fear, as tales of the Black Knight's invincibility spread like wildfire. In a cruel twist of fate, it was the princess who would ultimately bring about the Black Knight's downfall. Realizing the monster she had helped create, and seeing her own dreams of power crumbling before her eyes, she sought out an order of holy knights, rumored to possess the power to vanquish such evil. The final battle was a sight to behold, a clash between light and darkness that would be immortalized in song and story for generations to come. The Black Knight, his unholy strength at its peak, faced off against the combined might of the Holy Order and what remained of the kingdom's forces. As steel met steel and magic crackled through the air, it seemed for a moment that even this righteous army might fall before the Black Knight's onslaught. But in the end, it was not force of arms that defeated him, but the very thing he had forsaken, his humanity. For as the princess stepped onto the battlefield, the Black Knight hesitated, a flicker of recognition passing through his twisted features. In that moment of weakness, the holy knights struck, their blessed weapons piercing through his cursed armor and striking at the last shred of his mortal soul. With a howl that shook the very heavens, the Black Knight fell, his body crumbling to ash as the evil that had sustained him was purged. The kingdom was saved, but at a terrible cost. The king, his spirit broken by the ordeal, abdicated his throne. The princess, her role in the tragedy finally revealed, was exiled to a distant convent to live out her days in penance. And so ends the tale of the Black Knight, a story of power, betrayal, and the darkness that lurks within even the noblest of hearts. Let it serve as a warning to all who hear it, for in the pursuit of our deepest desires, we may lose sight of the very things that make us human. As you lay your head down to sleep tonight, remember the Black Knight, for in the shadows of your room, in the darkest corners of your mind, his legend lives on. And who knows? Perhaps on a moonless night, much like the one that sealed his fate, you too might hear the clank of armor and the whisper of a blade being drawn from its sheath. Sweet dreams, dear listener. May your conscience be clearer than that of the Black Knight.